Hello, this is the bone marrow hematology tutorial presented by the SchrDbb with reference Scholar Atlas of Hematology by Harald Thelm. So we are going to visualize the bone marrow consisting of the cell composition and the principle of analysis. So now we need to know that so these are the different contents of the bone marrow based on the cell composition. So this you need to know that we have the red cell series, you have the neutrophil cell series, you have the small cell series, you have the megakaryocyte. Is it clear? So the red cell series consists of the pro-erythrocyte. These are the median values which are located there, the median values and the normal ranges. Is it clear? So this and the median value, the normal region of different cells. You have pro-erythrocytes inside as red blood cell. You have macroblast, basophilic erythroblasts. You have poly and autochromic erythroblasts also located. You see they are the largest in number among inside the bone marrow. You see inside the bone marrow there is nothing like red blood cell and there is nothing like reticulocyte inside the bone marrow. Is it clear? So if you see a biopsy of the bone marrow, you are never going to see red blood cells and reticulocytes normally. Is it clear? They are only located at the level of blood, but in the bone marrow, no. Though the next structure inside the bone marrow is the neutrophil series or the granulocyte series. Inside the granulocyte series is actually very difficult to differentiate if it is a eosinophil, neutrophil, or basophilic series. Actually, they are very difficult. So they are when they are at precursors, you cannot easily distinguish each of them. But when they are late, you can distinguish them because of their granulation, like the cytoplasm. Neutrophil is going to be more having a clear cytoplasm. Eosinophil is going to have more a pinky cytoplasm, eosinophilic cytoplasm, and basophil is going to have more of a basophilic cytoplasm. Is it clear? Bluish. So these are the different precursors. We start with, we have the myelocytes with the different constellation, the promyelocytes. We have the first is the myeloblast, we have the promyelocytes, the myelocytes, the metamyelocytes, the band cells, and the segmented neutrophils, or the segmented eosinophils, or the basophils, depending on which series you are working with. Now we have the small cell series. Among those which are small cells, you are going to have eosinophilic granulocytes, but the band neutrophils are actually going to represent the band eosinophils. Is it clear? So the one in the small cell series, we have eosinophil granulocytes, basophilic granulocytes. We have monocytes are actually small at the beginning, but later on, when the monocytes are mature, they are going to be large. We have lymphocytes and you have plasma cells. Now, the level of the megakaryocyte is the last series that is found inside the bone marrow. So cell densities vary widely. So it's located there. So this is the diagram of a bone marrow. So in this diagram of a bone marrow, you have to know that so this is the bone marrow cytology. Bone marrow cytology shows the normal cell density inside the young adult smear bone marrow. Are you getting? So with a magnification of times 100, you see this part which is whitish here is more of fatty tissues, and these fatty tissues make the part called the stroma. The stroma is not the parenchyma. The stroma is only what is adjacent to the normal, the functional tissue of a particular organ. That's what is called the stroma. The stroma is the tissue which is used to anchor or adhere the functional tissue of an organ. So here is the stroma here, made up of adipose tissue and some form of connective tissue, which is adipose tissue. And then here we have now the parenchymal cells, the cells like the promyelocyte and different cell series inside the bone marrow. So this is increased magnification here in diagram B. You can see more adipocyte with large vacuoles that you can visualize, and adipocyte have only one nucleus, as you can see. The next, so we have normal hematopoietic cell densities. Is it clear? So diagram C is going to show the cytology. So we have even more cytology, and you can visualize different types of cells. So you can just go back to the last tutorial that we just did in order for you to identify the structures. So the cells that you can visualize, this cell here is large in size. You can think that this is an erythroblast or a myeloblast. So this can be an erythroblast or a myeloblast. Is it clear? And this can be also a myeloblast. Is it clear? So you can visualize a different diagram based on their size, the color of their nucleus. Like this one here, which has a very clear nucleus, is going to be more as a precursor. The one that have a clear nucleus, as you can see here, they are more precursors. Why the one that have the darkish nucleus are the descendants. Is it clear? So the one that has a white nucleus is made up of euchromatin. So they are more of pro-myelocytes, pro-erythroblasts, and all that. While the one which are more of darkish nucleus are at the end of the series of the production. Is it clear? Now the next one that you can visualize, you have this is a normal bone marrow finding. This is also normal bone marrow finding. You can see megakaryocyte in diagram 1. In diagram 2 you have, so this diagram 1 you can see megakaryocyte. In diagram 2 here you can see an erythroblast. Is it clear? And a myeloblast can be seen in diagram 3. So these are the different diagrams. Is it clear? This is erythroblast and this is a myeloblast. Now the next one in this diagram B, so this is staining, bone staining. Is it clear? This bone staining is different. The staining here is not the same staining like hematoxylin and eosin stain or azeophilic stain that we know that has been used. So in this case you use the iron storing. These are iron storing macrophages where you use iron staining. Is it clear? Because it's going to show the iron storing macrophages. Is it clear? Now the next one we have so this type of stain, I think, is called the crazy blue stain, in order to visualize those structures that are storing iron. So it's more of a crazy blue stain to visualize this type of things. And this is seen under our tutorials in histology. Now the next one here is the diagram C. You have normal bone marrow in the normal bone marrow cell. Here you can visualize adipose tissue. This is the erythroblast. These are the pro-myelocytes and the myelocytes here, and this is similar pattern in this diagram here. Now the stromal cells. So the stromal cells, so you also have bone marrow stromal cells. So the stromal cell is made up of one, we have already spoken about the adipocytes. You also have spindle-shaped fibroblasts. So you need to know that there is also some fibroblasts which are located there for the production of loose connective tissue to anchor the bone, to anchor the parenchyma. So we also have some fibroblasts which are spindle shaped, as you can see here. These are spindle shaped fibroblasts here, elongated. When I say spindle, it's just elongated. So these are spindle shaped fibroblasts. Their structural framework there, and you can also visualize even some connective tissue. So these are loose connective tissue that you're going to visualize. Is it clear? So that is the first diagram. So in diagram B, you can visualize a macrophage that has phagocytes, phagostose, a residual nuclear material. Is it clear? And these are the different structures. In diagram C, you can see bone marrow with osteoblasts. So these are some osteoblasts that have left the adjacent bone to enter the bone marrow. And also in the stromal cell, you also see osteoclast cells. Is it clear? So these are the different cells involved here. The first one, we have this which is the spindle shaped fibroblast. In the diagram B, we have macrophages. In diagram C, we have osteoblasts, and diagram D we have osteoclasts. These are the different stromal cells that can be located in the bone marrow. So from here we are finished with the tutorial of bone marrow on hematology. And I say thanks for your kind attention, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the channel. Thanks very much.